seem to spend half my life in the witness box these days.
Yeah, I'll be glad when I can come to court and not get called a liar.
In your dreams, Mike. In your dreams.
DC Carver, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
in the case
right.
of Holland
Yeah.
and PC Jarvis?
Yep.
I'm Reggie Newman, CPS.
Pleased to meet you.
Hi.
Mr. Kamal, counsel, wanted a quick word with you.
You all right?
Oh, thank you. We're always overloaded. Mr. Kamal? Mr. Kamal, this is DC Carver, PC Jarvis.
You've got copies of your statements?
Yeah, thank you.
And your notebook never turned up, Mr. Carver?
No, I'm sorry.
Can't be helped. One of those things.
What do you think Holland will get?
If he is convicted, 5 to 9 years.
Good. Baxter still haven't got over it.
But I ought to warn you, the chances of Holland going down for this aren't too good.
He got off last time.
The evidence against him isn't very strong. But I've spoken to counsel for the defense, who's warned me that she intends to apply to have your evidence of Holland's admissions ruled out.
Oh, great.
I will oppose it, of course. But if they're successful in excluding the admissions, then they'll almost certainly succeed in persuading the judge to withdraw the indictment from the jury.
You mean throw the old case out at half-time?
Exactly.
Sierra Oscar 4 from Sierra Oscar.
Go ahead.
Right, girls, another robbo for you. Are you anywhere near 17 Downs Road?
Just round the corner, Sarge.
Charlie Miller got a 3-year ban in Brighton yesterday. Can you have a look at his place and make sure he's not taking a spin in the Mercedes?
Could you confirm registration?
I think we're wasting our time.
You should have brought your knitting.
Holland walks into a shop, pulls out a knife, frightens the proprietors half to death, nicks all the takings, and the CPS reckons he's going to walk again.
Actually, to be fair, Kamal has had his doubts about this one all along. He only agreed to give it a whirl after DCI Meadows had a word with him, filled him in on Holland's history.
If they think the case is so weak, I don't know why they bother.
I think I'll paint my front door that colour. What do you reckon?
Got to hand it to him. He's got taste. And money. That car must have cost a bomb.
Wages of sin.
We've had a message from one of the victims, Mr. Baxter. He's been held up.
Does that mean the trial will be delayed?
No, we'll kick off with Mrs. Baxter and we'll have to fit Mr. Baxter in after. If he hasn't turned up by then, we'll call PC Jarvis.
But Mrs. Baxter couldn't pick out Holland on the ID parade.
I know. We weren't going to call her. The defence wanted her.
Well, if Mr. Baxter don't turn up, we're in trouble. He's the main witness. But why don't they call for an adjournment?
On March 11th, at approximately 11:50 a.m., I went to Zenor Stores, Zenor Street, Sun Hill, where I saw a Mr. Baxter.
And did you have a conversation with Mr. Baxter?
Yes, Your Honour.
And what happened following this conversation?
I went across the road to the Admiral's Post public house, where I saw a man I now know to be Eric Holland. I identified myself and told him I wanted to question him about a robbery that took place at Zenor Stores on New Year's Eve. Mr. Holland said to me, "I can't help you there, sunshine." He then told me his name was Robert Braithwaite of 11 Bannister House, Netherlake Estate.
Liar!
Be quiet, Mr. Holland, or you'll go downstairs.
I thought you'd like to know Mr. Baxter's arrived.
Good one.
That's something to be grateful for, I suppose. The CPS have managed to get their chief witness.
Now, officer, we've already heard that you were present at the interview of Mr. Holland on the 11th of March. And Mr. Holland made no reply to any questions put to him.
That's correct, Your Honour.
As, of course, he had a perfect right to do. And later on the 11th of March, you were also present at a search of the defendant's flat at 27 Monier Avenue.
Yes, Your Honour. Detective Constable Carver and I made a search of the defendant's premises.
And I think it would be correct to say that nothing incriminating was found during the search.
Yes, Your Honour. Nothing was found.
Were you present
It was
throughout...
over 2 months since the robbery had taken place, however.
Confine yourself to answering the questions, please, officer. Were you present throughout the search?
I was, Your Honour. Though I did receive a call on my radio, and I left the room to take that call.
That was rather convenient, wasn't it? A radio call necessitating your temporary absence.
Couldn't say. Call came through and I answered it.
Did DC Carver ask you to leave the room?
No, Your Honour.
Are you sure? DC Carver didn't ask you to wait outside while he had a quiet word with Mr. Holland?
No, Your Honour.
Because as soon as you left the room, it is alleged that there was some conversation between Mr. Holland and DC Carver.
I wasn't there. I'd left the room at that time to take a call on my radio.
I hesitate to interrupt, Miss Salt, but this witness has indicated that he wasn't present at the time of the conversation.
Thank you, Your Honour. It was all very convenient, wasn't it? You leave the room and then there's no witness to any conversation between my client and DC Carver.
I don't know, Your Honour. I had a call on my radio and I left the room to answer that call. For security reasons.
Doesn't look like Charlie Miller's driving anywhere today.
No. Oh, someone's lost his key.
Oh, yeah? What's he up to?
He's going round the side.
Mr. Baxter, you've told the court that your shop was entered and you were robbed on New Year's Eve. And then, on the 11th of March, some 10 weeks later, you saw someone who looked like the robber in the street and called the police.
Yes.
You then attended an identification parade on the 12th of March, the following day, and identified that man, Mr. Holland, as the man who robbed your shop.
Yes.
Speak up, please, Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
It's quite likely, isn't it, Mr. Baxter, that you remembered Mr. Holland from seeing him in the high street the day before?
Yes.
He's going to agree with everything that woman says to him.
The robbery happened very quickly, didn't it?
I think so, yes.
The man rushed in, pulled a knife and grabbed the till money. You didn't get much chance to look at him properly.
Well, not really. It all happened very fast.
Terrifying experience.
Well, yes. My wife was very upset. She still is.
And naturally, during the robbery, your thoughts were on the knife and for your wife's safety, rather than concentrating on the robber's appearance.
That's right, yes.
At the time of the robbery, you described the robber as 6 foot tall and aged between 25 and 35.
That's what we thought at the time.
Having just seen the man. But would you accept that Mr. Holland is 5'9.5" tall and aged 23?
Well, if you say so.
Is it possible that you recognised Mr. Holland because he'd been into your shop at some time as a customer?
I don't know.
That perhaps he resembles the man who robbed your shop, but he might not be the robber?
I suppose...
Is it possible that you made a mistake when you saw Mr. Holland in the street on the 11th of March?
It's possible.
And then compounded the mistake by picking out the same man the following day on the identification parade?
I don't know.
But it's a possibility.
Well, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Baxter. You've told us, Inspector, how you conducted the identification parade on the 12th of March, and Mr. Baxter picked out my client as the man who robbed his shop 2 or 3 months earlier.
That is correct, Your Honour.
Could you tell the court, please, whether any other witnesses attended the identification parade on that day?
One other witness, Your Honour.
Can you put a name to that witness, please?
Certainly. It was Mrs. Baxter.
Did Mrs. Baxter make an identification?
No, Your Honour. Mrs. Baxter picked out another person in the lineup.
Unconnected with this case, a volunteer?
Correct.
Mrs. Baxter not only failed to identify Mr. Holland, she picked out the wrong person altogether.
Yes, Your Honour.
Thank you, Inspector.
There's been a break-in at 10 Fawcett Gardens. Young male, IC1. Short, fair hair, or mid to late teens, maybe. Wearing blue denims, 5'5", 5'6". Runs like a greyhound. There's a window broken, but nobody's home.
I'll see if I can find the occupier for you and get someone down to make it secure. Heading to Charlie Miller's.
Oh, great.
What's happening, sir?
They've sent the jury out. The defence have asked to hear your evidence in the absence of the jury, so the judge can rule on the admissibility.
Well, we expected an argument over the verbals.
There's only the verbals left. Apparently, the identification's virtually gone out the window. They'll lose the admissions as well, and it's all over.
Carver.
I'll get back to Sun Hill.
And during the search of the defendant's premises, was there any conversation?
Yes, Your Honour. At a point during the search, PC Jarvis received a radio call and left the room to take the call. At this point, Mr. Holland said, "You won't find anything, I'm not that stupid." I replied, "Are you telling me we're wasting our time then?" Mr. Holland then said, "I got rid of the knife weeks ago and the money's long gone. You'll never prove anything."
You bloody liar! I never said a word!
I won't warn you again, Mr. Holland.
Mr. Carver, you were present at the interview on the 11th of March when my client exercised his right to remain silent.
That's right, I conducted the interview.
And the duty solicitor was also present, Mr. Brogan?
Correct.
And after the interview, you decided to search the defendant's premises?
That's correct, Your Honour, after we'd verified the defendant's address.
Do you remember any conversation with Mr. Brogan about the search?
There was a conversation, but I couldn't recall it fully now.
Mr. Brogan offered to attend the search to safeguard his client's interests.
Well, he may have offered, but he didn't attend.
Because you told him there was no need?
Possibly.
Mr. Brogan was about to accompany his client on the search when he received another call.
Well, you best ask Mr. Brogan.
You said there was no need to worry about the search as you had no intention of interviewing his client during the search.
I had no intention of interviewing Mr. Holland. He instigated the conversation.
At a convenient moment. Without his solicitor. And without PC Jarvis.
Well, he chose that moment. I would have preferred he'd made those comments on tape and in the presence of his solicitor.
I suggest to you that he said nothing while PC Jarvis was out of the room.
Yes, Your Honour. I made a note of the conversation in the defendant's living room before returning to Sun Hill. I made a statement later the same day using my notebook.
Could I see that note, please, officer?
Unfortunately, no, Your Honour. The notebook has been mislaid sometime before committal.
An inquiry has been made for this notebook, officer?
Yes, Your Honour, but unsuccessfully. I have my original statement I made at Sun Hill the same day.
There was no conversation when Jarvis left the room, was there, officer?
Yes, Your Honour.
And there was no note in your notebook?
There was, Your Honour.
I shall seek to persuade you that evidence of the verbal admissions should be excluded under Section 78 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act on the grounds that the inclusion of such evidence, following serious and flagrant breaches of the codes of conduct, would have such an adverse effect on the fairness of the proceedings that Your Honour ought not to admit it, in that a weak and uncorroborated identification should not be left to the jury.
The evidence is that Mr. Holland initiated the conversation and Mr. Carver made a note of it, and Mr. Holland refused to sign the note when requested. This is not the case of a defendant unaware of his rights. There has been evidence that Mr. Holland is no stranger to the police station, nor is it the case of a defendant denied his rights. On the contrary, Mr. Holland and his solicitor were afforded every opportunity to consult in private as required by Section 58.
Get out the car, please, sir. Is this Charlie Miller's car?
Can I help you, darling? Or did you want a word with my new chauffeurs?
Accordingly, for the reasons I have stated, I find the defendant's confession both admissible under Section 78 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act and cogent evidence which would corroborate Mr. Baxter's identification. I therefore rule that there is a case to answer and sufficient evidence for the jury to consider.
All rise.
He's a fitter! He's a bloody fitter!
I have warned
He's
you,
lying.
Mr. Holland.
Just making
Take
it
that
all
man
up.
down till he can control
Bloody
his
liar!
tongue.
You're lying, all of you!
Isn't that him? The kid from Fawcett Gardens?
Looks like it. Hang on a minute, I want a word with you.
Sierra Oscar from 181 receiving.
Go ahead, Norika.
Assistance required, Nailfield Road, IC1.
Female, mid-teens, short fair hair, blue denim, heading north towards Waterman's Road.
Right, I'm in Gatley Crescent. I'll try and intercept Waterman's Road.
Thanks, Sarge. Hope you got your running shoes on.
Well done. The judge listened to your arguments.
Well, the judge hasn't got any time for the likes of Holland. It's the jury we have to worry about.
I'm going now. They say it'll be all right, and my wife doesn't want to wait round. She's too nervous.
Well, thanks for coming.
Oh, that's all right. The CPS lady said I've been a great help.
CPS would sensitive. Please return to court number 3, please.
Come out!
Get off! I've done nothing! Arresting you for attempted burglary. You don't have to say anything unless you wish to do so. What will you do? Say maybe given in evidence. Do you understand?
Did you drop this?
What?
Lost your key?
Mr. Holland, you told the court that when PC Jarvis left your flat to take a radio call, you remained silent all the time he was absent.
That's right.
There was no conversation at all.
He kept shooting his mouth off.
What did Mr. Carver say?
He said he's going to fit me up.
Anything else?
I'd be sorry I ever met him, and he's going to fit me up. Make sure I got sent down a long time.
But did you ever mention this to anyone? Did you tell your lawyers about this conversation?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't put to Mr. Carver when he gave evidence.
I can't help that.
Did you ever see the note of the conversation Mr. Carver made?
He never made a note. There was no conversation. How could he make a note of it?
Didn't he show you his notebook and ask you to sign it?
No.
Where were you last New Year's Eve at about 5:30 in the afternoon?
I wasn't even in the country. I was working in Germany for 3 weeks.
You were out of the country. Did you ever mention that to anyone?
Probably. Yeah, I did.
Because we've had no alibi notice about your trip to Germany.
I was in Germany. I went out just after Christmas, and I stayed there till the end of January.
I don't know what they're on about. I wasn't near no house in Full St Gardens, and I didn't smash no window either. And I've never seen that before in my life.
Look, you're going to get your opportunity to put your side of the story later. Now, look, Joanne, because you're 15, we're going to have to get your mother down here.
That's all I need.
All right.
It wouldn't be my normal practice to attend a Section 18 search, but in this case, I asked DC Carver if he had any objections to my presence.
Mr. Brogan, were you still at Sun Hill when Mr. Holland returned from the search of his premises?
Yes, I think I was.
Was he asked to sign a notebook?
No, I don't think so. Now, hold on. Yes, that's right. DC Carver's notebook. Mr. Holland refused to sign it 19:30 hours, March the 11th.
So DC Carver's notebook was available and seen by Mr. Holland at that time?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Brogan.
I'm not convinced she had that piece of mica on her.
I don't know, she's fiddling with something at the front door.
I was right behind her all the way up Waterman's Road. I never saw her drop anything.
Mrs. Harvey, Joanne's mum's here, so we can interview when you're ready.
Right, Sarge. Sarge, why'd you say Harvey dropped that bit of mica?
What's the matter, Kath? You think I planted it?
No.
Interview room 1 when you're ready, then. There's only one thing you can use mica for, and that's slipping locks.
No reply.
It didn't work on the front door lock, so you smashed the window.
No reply.
Come on, Joanne, I saw you drop it.
Liar.
Throw it away, then. I saw you.
Don't say anything, Joanne. Don't tell him anything.
I saw you smash the window, Joanne.
No reply.
If we got it wrong, why don't you tell us?
No reply.
You're saying it wasn't you, then?
Of course she is.
Would you let her answer her own questions, please, Mrs. Harvey? Joanne?
No reply.
How'd you get on?
No reply.
Well, got off a burglary and possibly going to quit. You saw her drop the mica?
Well,
I saw her drop it.
I missed it, Sarge.
Kath?
No, Sarge.
What are you going to do? Well, you know what the CPS are like over cooperation.
Bob, don't talk to me about the CPS.
Well, they're going to need lots of evidence.
Right. Well, we'll go and turn her place over, then.
Mr. Holland, you first told this court that you had an alibi earlier this afternoon.
No,
Well, you said you were in Germany on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Were you not in Sun Hill?
No.
Did you not report to Sun Hill Police Station on 31st December 1992 at 9 p.m.?
No.
I'm in a position to prove this, Your Honour. It is the person's reporting on bail form from Sun Hill Police Station. Would you have a look at the form, Mr. Holland, and tell us if that is your signature on 31st December, 9 p.m.?
No, that's not right.
It is your signature, isn't it? Have a look at the entry for 30th December and New Year's Day. You were signing on daily over the whole periods you claimed to be in Germany.
Hang on, I might have signed some of them, but not all.
Are you saying that the form is a forgery?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. I've been fitted up.
If you could just show us Joanne's room, please, Mrs.
I
Harvey.
thought you'd known your own way up by now. You've been here often enough.
Mrs. Harvey.
No, you listen to me. Every 5 minutes you pick my girl up and lock her in a cell and ask her stupid questions. She hasn't done anything. She's only 15, for heaven's sake.
This isn't helping.
You listen to me when you're in my house.
Oh, shut up, Mum.
I'm on your side. Don't tell me to shut up.
Let's have a little look upstairs, shall we?
I have warned you of the special need for caution in relying on identification evidence. However, if, and this is a matter for you, members of the jury, if you believe Mr. Baxter was right when he identified Mr. Holland as the man who robbed his shop on New Year's Eve, then you must look for evidence capable of supporting that identification. There are two possible ways of doing this. Firstly, if you believe that the defendant made the verbal admissions to D.C. Carver while his flat was being searched, then those admissions are capable of corroboration. Secondly, if you believe the defendant's evidence of the German alibi incredible because he was deliberately lying and acting from a guilty motive, then that too is capable of corroborating Mr. Baxter's identification.
No, the jury went out about 5-10 minutes ago. No, we'll hang on, Sarge.
PC Jarvis, your jury are coming back.
Blow me down with a feather, Sarge. They're back already.
It'll be another interview, Mrs. Harvey, and then the likelihood is she'll be charged. There you go. Come on.
Tell you what, though, I still didn't have that piece of mica.
Say what you like. Doesn't matter anymore, does it?
Members of the jury, on count one, have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Eric Holland, guilty or not guilty of robbery?
Guilty.
6 years!
I never thought we'd get a result.
No, they shouldn't have called that solicitor.
If you hadn't realised about Holland signing...
And it's Holland we ought to thank. If he hadn't given evidence, I doubt...
Excuse me.
Yes, can I help you?
Yeah, I want to report my husband missing.
Right, you are Mrs.
Kennedy, Jean Kennedy, and my husband's called Alex.
Hello? Sally Miles? Yeah, round the back.
Do you work here?
No, I live in the flat next door. I didn't even know anything had happened until I came down the back stairs and saw the door left wide open. Thought something was up there because she doesn't normally open till 9. So I called in, got no answer. So I went in and found her like this. Is she the manager? Owner.
Have you called an ambulance? Just before I rang you.
Right, Mrs. Kennedy, we're going to need to take a few personal details. Your husband's date of birth, please.
4th the 1st, 65.
And place of birth?
Belfast.
And his occupation?
He's in the building trade, when he can get the work.
And would you have a recent photograph, preferably something we can hang on to?
Yeah, should have one in here.
Has your husband been in trouble with the police?
Why'd you ask?
Just thought I recognised him, that's all.
He got sent down about 5-6 years ago.
Oh, what for?
I don't know. He's never told me. He gets like that, you know, secretive.
How long have you been married, then?
Year today. Great anniversary. Not.
When did you last see your husband?
Day before yesterday.
So why did it take you 2 days to report him missing?
Well, Alex said he'd got a day's work up in Northampton on the building. Anyway, first night he didn't come back. I thought, well, OK. It must have just taken a bit longer than they thought. But the second night, when there was still nothing, it's not like him. He always phones if he's going to stay over, especially with it being our anniversary and all that. There's something wrong.
Did you take any clothes with him?
Nah, just a car.
Oh, do you know the make?
You're going to think I'm really stupid, but I don't know. I mean, I know it's red, but I don't suppose that's going to be much use.
Registration?
I haven't got a clue.
Donna, name Alex Kennedy mean anything to you?
Can't say it does. Why?
His wife's just been in to report him missing. He was sent down about 5, 6 years ago. She doesn't know why. But when I ran a PNC check, there was nothing. Oh, no, I know him from somewhere.
Is that his photo? That's Alex Finney. Irish guy. Got sent down for armed robbery 6 years ago.
Thanks. Hello, Mrs. Whitchurch? That's me. WPC Croft, Sunhill. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
So what happened?
Well, it was about 6:30. I was in the kitchen making myself a cup of tea when I saw these two people in a red Maestro, I think it was, drive round the back. Well, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just the kids from the M flat getting back from some late party. You know, that sort of thing.
Right.
I was just dozing off and I heard this noise in the kitchen. So I went to see what was going on and I found this bloke out there with a gun.
So what happened then?
Well, he told me to go downstairs and open up the shop.
Hey, you said you saw 2 people drive up.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other one must have stayed in the car because I only saw one bloke.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah, big. Very tall. Young. Well, youngish. White. And I think he had an Irish accent.
So Mrs. Whitchurch reckons she saw a red Maestro parked outside the back just before the shop was broken into.
Well, that would link it to that job in Waterman's Road and the jewellers in Dell Road. The getaway vehicle both times was a red Maestro.
Did you get any description, Suzi?
She could only describe one bloke. White, very tall, Irish accent.
Very tall. Could be Alex Finney. Mind you, he stayed clear of the scene for at least the last 2 years.
Well, if it is Alex Finney, a woman claiming to be his wife came in this morning reporting him missing. Only it seems these days he's calling himself Alex Kennedy.
So, what's happened? Have you found him then?
Not yet, no.
What's this about?
How long have you known your husband?
Well, altogether about 2 years, I suppose.
And did you know he had a criminal record?
Yeah. He told me about this job his mate's done at the post office and how he'd been left to take the rap.
That's one way of telling it, I suppose. And were you aware that he's on our files as Alex Finney, not Alex Kennedy?
Sorry, not with you.
What I'm saying, Jean, is that if you decided to check out at St. Catherine's house, you'd find that his real name is actually Alexander Finney.
I'm sorry, but I've been married to him for the last year as Alexander Kennedy. You know? I've got a wedding certificate to prove it. In fact, I can probably find it. There you go. Alexander Kennedy to Jean Ann McLaughlin. So how'd you explain that away? I mean, why would he want to change it? Why would he want to marry me using a false name?
You tell me.
WPC Marshall said the last time you saw Alex, he was going off on a job in Northampton.
So have I got to go through all this again as well?
She said he goes away a lot to work.
So?
Greg from Ackland
does he work
receiving over.
I'll take this out in the hall.
He shouldn't be long.
Fine. So after telling me that my marriage probably isn't legal and that my husband has been lying to me for the past year about who he is, I mean, is anyone actually going to do anything about finding him?
Right, it seems Limehouse Police have got something for us. I'm afraid we'll have to leave you now, Mrs. Kennedy.
So what about Alex?
Don't worry, as soon as we find out anything, you'll be the first to know.
Most of the cars that turn up down here are MOT failures. The owners dumped them.
What, pretend they've been stolen, then claim on the insurance?
You've got it. This one might have been involved in a burglary, you reckon?
Yeah, this morning. But it certainly matches the description we've been given.
According to the Port of London Authority, Limehouse Police took a call from a Mrs. Forrester about 7:30 this morning. Said she saw 2 people dumping that red Maestro.
Did you get a description?
Nah, too far away.
All yours. Thanks for your help.
So what's been happening?
Well, the BLA divers have been down and haven't found anything. I've just asked you to check the index.
Right, thanks, Steve. Suzi, can you start off looking in the boot? Yeah. I'll take a look at the front. Suzi! Jean, I'm sorry. Love you always, A.
Doesn't make any sense. Why would someone top themselves straight after doing a job?
Criminal Greg from Ackland.
Go ahead, June.
Sarge, the registered keeper is shown as Alex Kennedy in Meadows Road.
You received. I reckon Finney wants us to think he topped himself. So we rule him off the list of suspects and he buys himself some time to get clear of the area. It's a shame someone actually saw the car being dumped in the river.
What about Jean? Do you reckon she's in on it? Coming down the station reporting him missing.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Is that your husband's handwriting?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So what are you saying? That he's killed himself? Could someone just tell me what's going on?
We were rather hoping you'd be able to tell us that. Having made off with about 20 grand's worth of silver and jewellery only half an hour earlier, it seems a wee bit unlikely he'd want to kill himself, don't you think? And then at 8:15, you decide to report him missing.
So what are you getting at?
What I'm saying, Jean, is it seems a wee bit of a coincidence. Let's put it another way. If you were so concerned about Alex, why did you wait 2 days before reporting him missing?
Oh, I wanted to make sure.
Of what? That the car was in the river and the note inside to back up your story?
Whatever's going on here, I've got nothing to do with it. OK. I had a feeling Alex was involved in something. All those days and weeks away on odd jobs. That was why I was worried about reporting him missing. I didn't want to drop him in it. But when he didn't phone, I didn't know what to do.
And why should we believe you?
He's got a mate, Steve Redmayne. According to Alex Wright, it's been Steve who's been putting all this work his way, including his job in Northampton. Anyway, when I didn't hear from Alex, I rang Steve. Said he knew nothing about his job in Northampton. Says he ain't seen Alex in a week. Well, I think he's lying. I reckon anything Alex is involved in, Steve's in it as well.
Where will we find Steve?
He's working on the Oxton Road. And when you find him, will you ask him if he knows why Alex has been lying to me non-stop for the last year?
So how do you know Steve Redmayne?
He and Finney go a long way back. He was the driver on the post office job Finney was sent down for. Excuse me? Looking for Steve Redmayne. Know where we can find him?
Who wants him?
Police.
Oh, yeah? What's he been up to? Over in the office.
Hello, Steve.
What do you want?
Just a quick word, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, well, it better be quick. What's it about?
Can you tell us where you were this morning?
This morning? I've been here since 7:45.
And before that?
Well, before that, I was driving to work in my car. And before that, I was home in bed with my girlfriend. Does that answer your question?
Not quite, no. Alex Finney. He's a mate of yours, isn't he?
What about it?
I understand you've been putting quite a bit of work his way recently. In fact, I think he's just finished a job for you up in Northampton.
Where did you get that from?
His wife's reported him missing. She got worried when he didn't get back from Northampton.
Gail's reported him missing, has she?
Who's Gail?
Well, Gail Finney, his wife, the woman you just been talking to.
Do you know someone called Jean Kennedy? Only she seems to think she's married to Alex as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in fact, she even showed us a wedding certificate. Only for some reason, your mate Alex appears on the wedding certificate as Alex Kennedy. When did he decide to change his name?
Well, when you find him, you better ask him yourself. Look, I've got a job to do here, right?
Yeah, so have we. Listen, these jobs you've been sending Alex on, I want details and addresses.
Well, I ain't got them.
Is that right? Or is it the case that you and Alex have been doing a bit of part-time work recently? Going back to your old double act, you doing the driving while he does the break-ins?
All right, these jobs I'm supposed to be sending Alex on, they don't exist.
How do you mean?
Well, it's what he's been telling Jean to keep her sweet.
Sweet about what?
Alex has been seeing Gal again. Behind Jean's back. He says he wants to give the marriage another go.
Hang on, let's get this straight. Alex is still married to Gail, is that what you're saying?
Well, he ain't said nothing to me about no divorce.
And he's married to Jean as well?
Well, if she's got a certificate, I suppose he must be.
So do you know if Alex is with Gail now?
Probably. If he ain't shacked up with some other bird in the meantime.
Sierra 1 from Sierra Oscar, receiving?
Ahead, Sarge.
Canley Road, derelict warehouse. Report of kids in there sniffing glue. Can you take a look?
Oh, Paul, there's nothing here.
Tony. Sierra Oscar from 469 receiving.
Go ahead, Polly.
Canley Road, Sarge. I found a body. Male, IC1, late 20s.
Gail Finney?
Yeah?
Yes, Greg, WPC Croft, Sun Hill. Is Alex in?
No. I threw him out 4 days ago.
Do you know where he went?
New York.
New York? Why's he gone there?
Dunno.
But that's where he told you he was going.
He didn't tell me nothing. I found the tickets in his jacket pocket. One in his name, one in the name of some slag.
Do you remember the name of the woman on the ticket?
No.
Do you remember when the flight was?
Today, 3:10, going from Heathrow.
I don't suppose you remember which travel agent you booked it through, do you?
No, sorry.
All right, thanks, Mrs. Finney.
You're welcome. Oh, and if you see him, give him this. And tell him if he thinks there's anything missing, he'll find the rest of his clothes down on the railway track.
Apart from the wounds to the face and chest, there are some other wounds on the hands and arms, which would suggest he was shot at close range and actually tried to grab the muzzle as it was being fired.
And what time did death occur?
Oh, I'd say he's been dead 5.5 hours. One thing's certain, though. The shooting took place somewhere else, and the body was dumped here later.
How do you work that out?
It's post-mortem lividity. See, as soon as death occurs, the blood stops flowing and begins to pool in the lower part of the body, and staining appears. The thing is, as soon as post-mortem lividity occurs, it doesn't then change. So that if a body's been in one place for, say, an hour, and is then moved, well, then the lividity is going to be consistent with the original position, which is what's happened here.
Right, well, I'll get straight on to AMIP. And I guess as soon as the body's been formally identified, we'll get straight on with the post-mortem. Is there any ID?
Yes, this credit card voucher.
Alexander Finney. Thank you, Doctor.
The break-in took place between 6:30 and 7 this morning. The car was dumped about 7:30.
Alex was shot at 8 o'clock. What time did Jean Kennedy report him missing?
About 8:15.
So we've got two possibilities. Either Alex faked his own suicide and then he was murdered by a person or persons unknown, or he was murdered and then the killer set up the suicide in order to explain his disappearance.
What do you reckon?
I don't know. We've only got Jean Kennedy's word for it that the suicide note was in Alex's handwriting. And right now, she's got to be our #1 suspect.
When are AMIP getting here?
Well, they're all tied up at the moment, so it's still down to us. But what I'd like you to do is get back to Jean Kennedy and break the news to her.
Yeah, that's the thought. Who's going to identify the body?
The other one, Gail. Croft's at the travel agents checking out the flights and getting some details. So I've sent Ackland to break the news to her. Then somebody else will take her to the mortuary.
Right.
And when you break the news to Jean, stay with her. Keep her under surveillance. With a bit of luck, she'll try and make that flight. And then we'll have her.
Yeah, I know him. That's the creep that kept ringing me up.
Oh, and I had to keep telling him you'd gone on holiday.
I don't suppose you remember his name at all. I might have his number in my bag. I took it just to shut him up. John Smith, would you believe? Right, well, he was due to fly out on the 3:10 to New York. Could you take the details for me? Here we go. Mr. J. Smith and Miss H. Spencer, Flight 100, American Airlines, Heathrow to JFK Airport.
So, what's happened to Alex?
Look, I think you better sit down.
The body of a man we believe to be your husband was found about an hour ago.
What happened?
He'd been shot. I'm very sorry.
He's saying he's been murdered.
We're treating it as a murder investigation, yes. Look, is there anyone that I can phone for you? A neighbour, friend, relative?
What for?
Just so that you're not alone at the moment.
No. Do you know who done it?
Not yet.
But you got any ideas?
It's very early days. Mrs. Finney, I'm sorry, but I'm also going to have to ask you to go with one of our other WPCs and identify the body.
I suppose you want me to identify him.
Well, in this case, no. It won't be necessary for you to do that.
Why not?
The thing is, Jean, you see, Alex was still legally married to someone else. As far as we know, he never divorced his first wife. When he married you, he did so using a false name.
This woman, she knows what's happened to Alex.
Yes.
And is she, doing the identification?
Yeah.
I've lost everything because of Alex, I got a son, Chris. 16 last week. Ain't seen him. Ain't heard from him since me and Alex got married.
Why is that?
Well, Chris reckoned Alex was taking me for a ride. The house. The fact I had a bit of money behind me. Well, Chris reckoned that was all Alex was after. So I told him. If that's how you feel. So then he moved in with my sister. That was that. I really loved Alex,
Is this your husband, Mrs. Finney?
Yeah. That's Alex.
Well, if she is planning on going to New York, she's travelling awful light.
Cheers, mate. Terrific.
Right, I think I've got the ones you want. If you could just come with me. John Smith.
Yeah, John Smith, would you believe?
And the other one you wanted was Spencer.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Do you mind if I use your phone?
It's Jean Kennedy. Hey, stop it! Come here!
All right, break it up.
No, or I'm going to nick you, all right? Ah! How did you know where to come?
Went round Steve Redmayne's, didn't I? Got him to tell me what was going on.
Stay with her, Dean. What are you doing, Gail? What's this then?
I had an accident.
Oh, yeah. What about this?
I hid it. I hid it for Alex.
Come here!
Wait there!
Come here! Come here! Oh. Gail Finney, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but what you say may be given in evidence. Do you understand? Let's go.
So, why did you do it, Gail? Was it something you've been planning?
No. You wouldn't understand.
Try me.
Me and Alex, right? Well, we go back a long way. Went back a long way. I've been with Alex since we was at school. Since I was 14. He was a lying bastard back then.
Why did you marry him then?
Well, I thought he'd change. Then I come home from work one day and find him in bed with the woman next door, so I kicked him out. Didn't write, didn't phone, nothing. The only time I heard from him was when he wrote asking for a divorce.
So what did you do?
Nothing. Well, I ripped the letter up. Well, I wasn't going to make things easy for him. So then, about 6 months ago, I saw him in the pub. He said he'd been living with this Jean woman on Meadows Road, but it wasn't working out. So I said, Alex, I got my life together now. I don't need you wrecking everything for me again. But he says it wouldn't be like before. And he's realised how much I mean to him. So we started seeing each other.
What then?
Well, then he says how what we need is a fresh start. Like getting right out of this country, you know? And he starts planning these jobs so as we can save up the money.
What jobs were these?
Well, the one this morning, the jeweller's on the Waterman's Road. And he says if I do the driving, there's no need to involve anyone else. Just him and me. And he starts planning it all out.
Getting a few names together.
Getting these fake birth certificates off a mate so as we can get tickets and passports in different names. Make sure no one would trace us. Oh, and putting the note in the car. So as if you found it, you'd think he'd topped himself and you'd stop looking for us.
So what went wrong?
Well, this morning he says maybe I shouldn't come out to New York. Be safer if he went first, you know. Less likely to be stopped if it's only him. So I says, well, we got the tickets, got the passports. What am I supposed to do here? And he says he'll send me the money from New York. And I thought, whatever he says, you know, he just expects me to swallow it. That's what I couldn't stand, all the lies. And I thought, even if I went out there, he'd just leave me for someone else. And on and on. So I shot him. How long am I going to get?
It's not up to me.
Well, whatever I get, it weren't worth it.
This Thompson's yard?
Yep, on the right.
He doesn't look too happy.
Must be the guy who phoned in.
Mr. Draper. I'm glad to see you. Thought I was going to have to get in there. Turn the engine off, but you can't go kicking the door in, can you? Only came round to try and get some money out of him.
No good, I can't see anything. Oh, you, does he?
Yeah, nearly £2 grand. Roofing tiles and that.
Oh, what is he running that thing on? Keepers? Can you see anything? Yeah, there's definitely someone in there, all right. Thompson? Yeah, could be. God, what is that stink? No, it's not car exhaust, I'll tell you that. Oh, that is definitely evil. Right, let's not hang about in there, all right? Sierra Oscar from 517 receiving over.
Suicide attempt? Attempt? Thompson's dead. It's not any car exhaust either. There's some form of toxic gas. Gary and Mike are over there throwing up. Gas? Yeah, I sent for the fire brigade and ambulance. Kathy and Dave are going over there to assist.
Someone's got to talk to Thompson's wife.
I'll get Reg onto it.
And let's see ID know, all right?
Right.
You all right?
Yeah, great.
You smell that stuff. What is it?
I don't know, but he's got one hell of a kick. You all right, Mr. Draper? He never even went inside. I haven't felt this bad since my cousin's own brute.
Was he dead when you went in?
Yeah, we worked on him anyway.
Oh, what a way to go.
Dave Reynolds, station officer.
Right.
You all right? It'd be a lot better if we knew what it was.
Yeah. Well, what did you see in there?
There's this stuff on the floor. Pellets, it looked like. That's where the gas was coming from.
Pellets? What kind of pellets?
Yeah, grey ones, in a paint lid or something, all frothing up.
Is there any sign of a container or packaging?
Not that we saw.
Who's he?
Named Peter Thompson. It's his yard. Or was.
Right. I'll get a couple of firefighters in there with breathing apparatus to see what they can find.
So Thompson's got a GBH charge hanging over him. I can't see him losing any sleep over it. He's hardly got an unblemished reputation to maintain. On it, Alan. That break-in at Thompson's ex-business partners.
Jerry Evans.
You getting anywhere with it?
Not really, no. Evans swears that it was Thompson, of course. Well, you can see his point. He'd only just got a kicking off Thompson.
But what's it all about?
Well, Thompson put up some money for Evans to get started in the pest control business, but a couple of weeks ago wanted his money out and Evans wouldn't let him have it.
So Evans reckons he's in the burglary business as well as GBH,
Yeah. Why, what's happened?
Thompson topped himself this morning.
You are joking.
Yeah, that was my reaction. And he got a crack over the head. I wonder how the hell he got that.
Anyway, thought you'd want to know.
Yeah. Cheers, Matthew.
You know, that doesn't make sense, over a GBH charge.
No, it doesn't, does it?
How did he do it?
Filled his office with toxic gas mixed with car exhaust.
Oh, that's a new one. He wasn't playing Wagner and the stereo at the same time, was he?
Right, come on, move back, get out of the way of the van. Come on, quick as you can.
Quickly.
I'm all right now, sir.
Well, you don't look it. I don't want you ending up like Thompson.
Sir. It's not very clever of your blokes going in there.
They saw a man in trouble.
Yeah, well, they could have got in trouble themselves.
They thought it was worth the risk. That's why they're doing this job and not working for the council.
Look, I'm going to need to warn the residents immediately downwind. Is there any chance of using some of your blokes?
Of course.
Dave! Just tell him to stay inside, keep windows and doors shut, at least we know what it is we're dealing with. Right. Thank you.
That's something Evans must have plenty of. Chemical nasties.
Yeah.
He's probably got enough in there to wipe out half of Sunhill.
Maybe that's where Thompson got it. You know, helped himself to stock when he broke in.
Or maybe Evans gave it to him as a leaving present.
Are you saying it wasn't suicide?
I'm gonna have a word with Evans. See how he reacts to the bad news, eh?
You looking for Mr. Thompson?
No, Mrs. Thompson.
I haven't seen her this morning. Something wrong?
No, I just wanted to word with her, that's all. You haven't got any idea where she might be, have you?
Oh, I haven't, sorry.
OK, thanks.
It wouldn't surprise me if something had happened. The way they were going at it last night, shouting and bawling.
Oh, yeah?
We heard it right through in our sitting room. We always had the telly on loud. Heard something breaking too.
And then what?
Quiet after that. About 10:30, never heard another thing.
Got from round, did they, the two of them?
Yeah, quite a lot lately. Never bothered me though. At least it showed there was someone in this street still alive.
Yeah. Oh, well, cheers, huh?
Thank you, Doctor. Well, we've got the flask it came in, so at least we know what it is we're dealing with.
What is it?
Phosphorid. It's used for killing rats. When it comes into contact with water, it gives off a toxic gas. That's the fishy smell.
And what's the risk to my officers?
I can't say yet.
I'll pass it on to St Hughes. They'll need to get onto the poison centre.
It's nasty, though. A couple of my blokes have gone down.
A rat killer, eh?
Chose himself a hard way to die.
But why mix it with car exhaust?
Or maybe he wanted to confuse the issue. He hasn't got a grudge against the police, has he?
You mean he set it up as a trap?
It's just a thought. Like another one on the way out.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Mr. Evans?
Morning.
Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
What about?
Would you leave us for a minute?
Yeah, OK.
What is this?
When's the last time you saw Pete Thompson?
That lunatic, when he gave me this lot.
Sure about that?
What, you think I'll go drinking with him or something?
Well, I know you're not exactly friendly.
You can see what he's done to me. Nobody forced him to put his money in this business. Then he comes down here telling me he wants out. It's only to see me go under, that's all.
You reckon?
Of course it is. Why, what's he been up to now?
Well, I don't think he'd be giving you any more trouble.
What, you're gonna charge him with the break-in?
He's dead.
You're joking.
Seems he killed himself. Mind you. I don't suppose you'll be sending him flowers, will you, Mr. Evans?
All right. Yep. Yeah, thanks.
There shouldn't be any more risk now the stuff's outside. Reaction's pretty well over now, anyway.
Well, what's the state of the office?
Well, it just needs ventilating, that's all. Should be fine after that.
I had a word with the hospital. They don't think there'll be any long-term health problems.
Good.
Well, I think we can lift the curfew.
That's 4 he's managed to put in hospital, sir.
Yes.
I think that's what he wanted.
Station Officer Reynolds thinks so. Wonder what a man in that state of mind might have done to his wife.
Mrs. Thompson was definitely there last night. The neighbours said they had a row.
What about her work? Has she got a job?
She's a florist. Tony and June are on the way over there now.
Good.
Do you think he could have done her some harm?
It's possible, if he topped himself.
If he topped himself?
What's the news on Jarvis and McCann?
I haven't heard. Dave Quinnan's in there as well. I'll let you know as soon as I hear.
Thanks. So what is this stuff?
Phosphorid's the trade name. It's used for killing rats.
That's so. You know, I think it might be worth having a look at Mr. Evans' stock records.
Just what we're going to do.
Oh, really? So you reckon that Evans could have had something to do with it, then?
Well, put it this way. When I spoke to him, I had a feeling I wasn't telling him anything he didn't know already.
You know, if you behave yourself, I might buy you a rose.
Hello there. Oh dear, have they had no break-in next door?
Not as far as we know. No, we're looking for a Mrs. Belinda Thompson.
Yes, so am I.
Is she not in then?
Well, she hasn't turned up. No phone call, no nothing.
Is that unusual? I mean, is she usually unreliable?
Just the opposite. She'd stagger in if she had double pneumonia. Is there something wrong?
Well, we just need to get in touch with her.
Is she in some kind of trouble then?
We hope not, but thank you for your help anyway.
Yeah, I reckon Dave Quinnan only got a whiff of it.
Don't know where he did, George, but then he stumbled out into the street, collapsed, had to give him oxygen.
So what does it do to you, this stuff?
Well, it's phosgene, right? It's the same stuff they used in the First World War. You can't have any effects for years, out there.
Phosgene, Reg? I thought it was phosphorid.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Any chance of you two getting any fresh air?
Sarge.
And stay away from the St. Hughes, will you? Otherwise, I'll be running the relief from casualty.
Yes, Sarge.
Can I help you?
I'm Detective Inspector Harry Haynes. This is Detective Constable Woods. We're from Sunhill. Is Mr. Evans in?
No, not at the moment.
I wonder if we can have a look at your stock records.
Well, I'm not sure if Mr. Evans... I'm just transferring them all to the computer.
You do have stock records.
Yeah. I expect it'll be all right. What product were you interested in?
Phosphorid.
Phosphorid. Is that phosphorus with an F?
pH.
Should be in this one. There we are. Nothing wrong, is there?
Six flasks. Can you show us where they are?
I'm not sure exactly.
Well, why don't we start with the secure cabinet, hmm?
Yeah, okay. You better come across the yard.
Not you again. What do you want now?
I want to see the stockroom.
We just want to have a look at your stocks of phosphorid, Mr. Evans.
All right, Tamsin, I'll show.
Thanks.
What's this about, anyway? It's usually health and safety come poking around. My God, you're not telling me you did it with phosphorid. Oh, I knew he was balmy, but...
If we could just have a look at the stockroom, Mr. Evans.
He must have gone completely off his trolley. He could have gassed half of Sun Hill.
He nearly did.
There you are.
I thought this was supposed to be a secure place.
Yeah, it is, usually. Somebody must have forgotten.
There should be 6 flasks of phosphorid. Where's the other 4?
Thompson must have lifted them when he did the place over. A blooming nutter.
And you only found out now? We asked you for a complete list.
Well, how's I supposed to know he's going to come in here? It was money he was after. Well, he's not going to clear his debts with a couple of dozen pellets of rat poison, is he?
Well, he must have had something else in his mind. I suggest you have a good look for those missing flasks, Mr. Evans. And if you find them, you will tell us, won't you?
Well, that sorts out how Thompson got the phosphorid.
Does it?
Well, who else would break in to steal rat poison guff? It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
That's not how I see it. There's no proper up-to-date records. There's no evidence the cabinet was broken into. What does that suggest?
Well, you tell me.
Someone hasn't had time to cover their traces. Thompson's body was only found 2 hours ago. Evans just hasn't got round to it yet. It's hardly likely to enter that he's drawn 4 flasks of lethal poison on today's date.
So how do you explain the break-in 2 weeks ago, then?
Well, nothing was taken, was it?
Well, exactly. Because Evans said Thompson was after money, and there was no money on the premises.
But Thompson trashed the place, if it was him.
Well, Thompson wasn't a very happy man, Gov.
Yeah, well, I can think of other ways of getting money back, other than trashing places and dumping people. He must be a raving lunatic.
Was a raving lunatic, Gov.
We're outside Thompson's house now, sir. There's still no sign of Mrs. Thompson. I think it's time we had a look inside.
So do I, June. Keep me posted.
Let's go in.
Right.
Mrs. Thompson, please.
I'll look upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
No, there's nobody upstairs. Blimey. Somebody's lost their rag in here.
Yeah. I wonder what else they broke.
That could account for Thompson's crack on the head.
So what's happening? Well, they're not being kept in. Someone Rose sent them home.
The best thing.
What's that, Matthew? The whole relief?
No, sir. Gary and Dave. Mike's staying in for observation.
He's okay, isn't he?
I think so, considering it was poison gas.
Bit of a choker, eh?
Yeah.
The fire chief thinks Thompson was having a go at us.
Oh, I can't see it.
No? Then why set up the car exhaust?
Probably just making sure.
Belt and braces.
It could be.
So how does Evans explain the missing flasks?
Well, he reckons Thompson must have lifted them in that break-in, sir.
So why didn't they check the storeroom?
Well, he claims he had no reason to. He just assumed that Thompson would be after cash.
I'd say it stinks.
Just a bit.
When's the PM report due?
There might be a slight delay there, Jack. They reckon the body's still hazardous. All that gas.
Well, I reckon it's time we got Mr. Evans in, don't you?
I still don't see what we're pulling him in for, Gov. There's no evidence that Evans actually did anything.
No, but he knows something, and a lot more than he's telling us. Anyone that's been thumped, had his place trashed, and has managed to lose enough poison to restage the Battle of the Somme has got to be a little more than accident prone. Hmm? We'd like another word with Mr. Evans.
Afraid you can't. He's gone out.
Well, if you can tell us where he's working, you can phone him and tell him we're on our way.
He's not on a job.
Where's he gone?
Said he had to go home, out of business. Shall I?
No. Leave it. We'll surprise him, eh?
Here's his van. This must be it. It's a funny time to come home.
I reckon his secretary thought so too.
Maybe he came back for his mouse traps.
Hello, Mr. Evans.
This is getting stupid.
If you wouldn't mind coming down to the station with us, we've still got a few questions we want to ask you.
You what?
We're very worried about those missing flasks.
Sorry. I've got a business to run.
Yeah, well, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Evans.
Look, I've told you what happened. Thompson lifted them when he turned my place over. Now, the stupid bastard's topped himself. End of story!
But it's not the end of this story.
What is it, Jerry?
It's all right, love.
Detective Inspector Harry Haynes, Sunhill. Do you mind telling me who you are?
Mrs. Thompson. Linda Thompson.
I could have understood him knocking Jerry about. That was right in character. But to turn on himself...
We heard you had money problems.
So what's new? He'd always had money problems.
Did he know about you and Mr. Evans?
I told him a couple of weeks ago. Then last night, I told him I was moving in with Jerry. All right, he was upset. But people get over these things, don't they? They don't go out and kill themselves. That's why he's done it. To ruin my chances of happiness.
Well, you think so, do you?
I knew there was something wrong when Jerry came back from seeing him this morning.
Mr. Evans went to visit him, did he?
Yes, at the yard. Well, he was just going to have it out with Pete, that's all. He threatened to hurt me. Pete had. But Jerry didn't tell me what happened. wasn't until you.
If you'll excuse me, Mrs. Thompson. I knew he was holding back on something.
It still doesn't make him a killer.
It makes it worth looking beyond the blindingly obvious, though, doesn't it?
I still reckon it's odds on that Thompson topped himself.
He chose a bizarre way of doing it.
Look, he was angry, Gov. Maybe that was his way of getting back at his missus.
Let's look at it another way. Evans goes over to Thompson to get him off his back, once and for all. Now, he's already had a smacking off him, and now he's threatening violence towards his missus.
OK, so Evans has a motive, right?
So Evans goes over to Thompson and finds him out of his mind on whiskey. So he cracks him over the head and turns the place into a gas chamber.
Well, yeah, that's possible.
Too right it is. And if Evans doesn't come up with a better story as to what happened to those missing flasks, he stays in the frame.
OK, sir.
Right. Let's see what he has to say for himself, eh? Thanks, Fred. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Evans.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'm supposed to be doing a council job today. You get behind on a council contract, you don't get a second chance.
Alan. Interview continues. 11:47. Officers present as before. You're still under caution, do you understand? Good.
So what the hell am I being accused of?
Nothing yet.
You're not trying to make out I had something to do with that nutter topping himself, are you? You must be balmy.
Why didn't you tell us you were around in Thompson's yard this morning?
She told you.
What were you doing there, Mr. Evans?
I went there to make him leave us alone, that's all. He'd threatened her, you know. Did she tell you that as well? He's quite capable of giving her a smack, the same as he did to me.
So you thought you put him away for good?
Oh, don't talk stupid. He'd already done himself in by then. He had the pipe on the exhaust and everything.
Save you the bother, eh?
Look, I just wanted to talk to him, that was all. Tell him to stop giving Lindy any more grief.
So you went to reason with the man that put you in hospital just a couple of weeks back?
See, I knew you wouldn't believe it.
You're right, I don't.
Well, that's why I never said anything!
You found Thompson in the act of taking his own life.
I just said, didn't I?
And what did you do then?
Hey?
Pull the pipe out of the exhaust, try to turn the ignition off, try to get in. What did you do to save his life?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, what the hell do you think, a toe rag like that?
So you just let him die?
His choice?
Maybe you helped him along a bit, with a couple of your poison pellets, eh?
You're as balmy as he is.
Be nice to get him out of the way, though, wouldn't it? With all that grief he's caused you.
Look, it's obvious. He did himself in with the stuff he nicked out of my store.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Could I have a word, please?
Interview suspended. 11:49. What is it, Suzi?
Phone call from the chemical company.
Yeah?
They checked the batch number. They reckon there's no way that flask could have come from Sunkill Pest Control.
They're sure about that?
Well, they seem to be. The numbers are coded, apparently. That one went to a firm in Tottenham last week. Thompson must have got it from there. You OK, Gov?
Yeah. Thanks, Suzi.
OK.
Alan.
Gov.
Thompson didn't get the phosphorid from Evans.
So that puts him out of frame.
You were right all the time, Alan.
Yeah, well, you had me wondering, though, Gov. Especially when Evans and Middy going to Thompson's yard, you know?
It's a terrible thing what he did.
What's that?
Doing nothing.
Mike!
Hello, sir.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right. They reckon my heart rate's not right yet.
Well, that was a good effort this morning.
Oh, shame he didn't produce a better result.
I'm probably giving you mouth-to-mouth that landed you up in here.
Oh, I didn't have a lot of choice, really.
No.
So it was suicide, you reckon, sir?
Mrs. Thompson's convinced it was. She reckons he did it out of spite.
You'd really have to have it in for someone, wouldn't you? I mean, to leave him with a legacy like that.
We won't be detaining you any longer, Mr. Evans.
Oh, I can go, can I?
Yeah.
That's about time, dragging me all the way down here. You want to get out there after all these muggers and ram raiders.
Just trying to get at the facts, Mr. Evans. Thanks for your cooperation.
You're a waste of space, you lot. There should be a law against police wasting people's time like this.
There ought to be a law against people like you, but unfortunately there isn't. See him out, will you?
Mr. Evans. Listen.